Alright, hello. This is another video that I'm doing specifically focused on your Google Analytics plugin. In my previous video, I left off here on the WordPress dashboard. So this is assuming that you are able to log into your WordPress website successfully and now want to do the Google Analytics part of it. So you should already have a Google Analytics account before we even start here. So if you don't have a Google Analytics account, and that is a Google Analytics account and not an AdWords account, stop the video now and go and get your Google Analytics account. And when you do, kind of make note of a tracking code. It starts with a U and an A usually. Write that down or copy and paste it because you may need it for this step. But once you have that, we basically need to install a WordPress plugin. So that's located here under plugins, and this shows you plugins that I currently have now, neither of which are currently active. But this may look a little bit different depending on how the host or what host you use to install your WordPress site for. Now, the good news is that there are WordPress hosts like HostGator, I believe, that automatically install what the plugin that we are going to use for the Google Analytics, which is pretty convenient. But let's assume for a minute that you don't have the opt-in monster plugin, which is what we want. So go in here and add new. Now this is the same plugins that if you go to wordpress.org and go to plugins, it's the same interface. And just in case you ever want to browse WordPress plugins outside of your WordPress installation, this is how you do it. So just back over here. So the plugin that we want is called Opt-in Monster. If we already knew that, that's great. We could type in Opt-in Monster. Actually, I'm sorry. I keep doing this. It's not Opt-in Monster. It's give me a second. Let's type in Google Analytics. Yeah, it's Monster Insights. I'm sorry. I made this mistake before in a class. So the Monster Insights plugin is the one we want. So I can type in the keyword Monster Insights, or I can type in Google Analytics for keywords. And because Monster Insights is a preferred plugin, it'll appear up here. But this is definitely the plugin that we want. Google Analytics for WordPress by Monster Insights. Now, you can get details on any plugin by clicking on here. But really, this is what we want. Now, if you ever want to install plugins in your site in the future, it's a good idea to read about the plugin before you download it, find out the ratings and all that wonderful stuff. But we're confident this is the one we want. So I'm going to go to Install Now. And then I'm going to activate it. So it brings me back to my plugin page. And the plugin is activated because you see the blue bar and this blue tint right here. You also see deactivate here. So the plugin added this insights over here. Now we can click on the configure Google Analytics settings here, or we can go here to our settings here. Same link, takes you to the same place. So this is the key right here, Google authentication. So we want to tie in the Monster Insights plugin to our actual Google Analytics account. So the easy way to do this is, well, I should say that probably the best way to do it is click on the authentication. And it's going to bring up this pop-in window. And like how you log into some social sites for verification, that's exactly what this is doing. It's going to ask us to log into a Google account so it can authenticate and it will be able to pick our Google Analytics that we want to match up with our site. So in order to do that, though, Google has to go through this security procedure, clicking to get a Google code. Now, that means me logging into my Google account, which I currently have not done as of yet, but I'm clicking on an account right now. It's going to ask me if it wants to do this. I click Allow, and there's the code. So all I need to do is copy that code, paste it in here in the box where it just wants me to paste it, and then I select an analytics profile. Now I happen to have two here associated with my Google account. And for all purposes, you don't really need to know this stuff, but you notice there's a UA tracking code included in here that's Yours, of course, is going to look different. It'll probably be one thing you can choose because you probably only have one Google Analytics account. So all you need to do is select it, hit next, and you're done. And I close it. And this is the key right here. You'll know it's successful because it has this phrasing here that wasn't here before, along with your Google Analytics tracking code here. Now, the other way I can do this, I can deauthenticate, and there was a link down here that says I wanted to be able to do this manually, and you can enter your tracking code, and that should work as well. So, how do you know this really works? Well, you can go to your Reports tab in the plugin. Now, if you see this, if you see a chart here and not a message that says wait 24 hours, then that's when your plugin is fully works. If you just created your Google Analytics and just linking it to your WordPress site, Google Analytics probably takes about 24 hours in order for data to start coming in. I already had this plugin installed, so that's why you see the chart here. But if you see this chart after 24 hours, then that should be sufficient evidence, at least to your instructor, your teacher, that you have successfully installed the Google Analytics plugin. Obviously you may want to find out more about your settings by going to tracking and finding things out. I want to keep in mind this plugin is kind of like a light version. There's a pro version you pay for, but your light version does the very basic stuff, so some of these things will not be available to you, but at least this engagement and demographic stuff is. So anyway, I hope this video has been informative about how to hook your Google Analytics plugin in your WordPress site.